Hello. You're probably like, why do you look so somber? Why do you look so sad? Why do you look so sick and tired? And this because Libby is pissing me off. This new system that they have put into action works a little too good. It works a little bit too good because I'm about to show you the stack of books that I have gotten off a hold on Libby. Most of them, for the most part. And I'm basically doing another clearing my Libby challenge, but I'm just going to call it something different because what is going on? So, you can kind of see the stack right here, but you can't tell what they are because of, So, I'm going to show you the books that are off of hold on Libby. Here they are. All of these in the past, I'm going to say 5 days, came off of hold on Libby. What is going on? Here they are. Cheese. Ooh. Okay, let's talk about them. You probably couldn't hear me there now because my microphone was not on me. Let me put my microphone on me. Okay, so the first one that came off a hold. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, here we go. Okay. I'm already tired. I'm already hot and I'm already tired and I'm already bothered. Okay. The first one that came off a hold was the Phoenix Keeper. I talked about this in my Clearing My Libby challenge. I talked about how I was first in line. So this is not surprising. But this is the first one that came off hold. I've had it now for 5 days. So I have 16 days left on it. This will probably be one of the first ones I start. Who knows? Before any of these became available, I was like, oh, it's a new month because it's October. On October 1st, I was like, it's a new month. I have 0 things on my Libby because I cleared my Libby. So I was like, so let's borrow some things that I want to read in October. So these are the things I borrowed myself, which was low-key a mistake. I borrowed the first binding. I don't know what this is about. I love the cover and I'm getting more into epic fantasy. So I decided to do this one. And I've had it for a quick minute now, and I would love to read it. I'm very excited. So here's that. The audiobook on Libby for that is 41 hours long. I haven't read a book that long in a minute. I think the last one was like Brandon Sanderson, so that's gonna be scary. Then I have Everyone's Thinking It, and this one right here is a mystery. So I'm very excited. It's not that long. I could get to this soon. This is on my fall TBR, so this would make sense to read, but who knows if I'll actually read it or not. And I also borrowed by myself Prodigal Son. You saw in, again, Clearing My Libby, where I finished book 5, and I own physically books 6 and 7, so I borrowed books 6. And I also borrowed, on my lonesome, is Inkblood Sister Scribe. It was just available, so I did it, and so I have that one now. So technically I was supposed to have only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 books, which is still a lot, but, and the thing is, with that, I was also planning on reading Malice by John Gwynne. I bought this from Audible because the Libby hold was so long, I hadn't moved in a long time. Now with this new program, I could have probably got sooner, but I don't think so. So, because that wasn't moving. So here's Malice. And I wanted to read House of Leaves. This obviously doesn't have an audiobook, but oh, how am I supposed to read this? Oh, this looks daunting. That. So the last book's here though. That's already a stack of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 books. A lot of those are on me, But then, book 6 was available, but book 7 wasn't. So I put it on hold and said it would be ready in a couple of weeks. Dark Horse, this is book 7. To the Orphan X series after Prodigal Son. Great. Then, Masquerade became available. Remember, in my Clearing Libby challenge, I gave this one back voluntarily because I was like, I don't feel like reading it. I'm over this. Came back. Girl, it's only been like a week. Maybe 2. Okay. It's only been like a week. It's been less than a week, but okay. Then these two came up at the same time. Vampires of El Norte. Also on my fall TBRs. A lot of these are on my fall TBR. I just don't remember which ones. But boom. Oh no, it's falling. It's falling. Ah. And lastly, The Night Ends with Fire. This came off with El Norte, and y'all, I'm tired. This is a lot of books. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 books. 11 books. 10 of those 11 have audiobooks. One is just one I wanted to read this month. But here's the thing. If I read all of these books this month, that's a feat in itself. But if I read all of these books this month, I reach my goal for October, which is always, in each month is always to read 10 physical TBR books. All of these are my TBR books, my physical TBR books. That's 11 TBR books, which is great. It's just that I have a real affinity for loving and buying and reading thick old books. So it's making my brain hurt just thinking about them, because a lot of these are very thick books. I know for a fact I can get through the 2 Orphan X books, Everyone's Thinking It book very quickly, and maybe even Ink Blood Sister Scribe books very quickly, because they're the shorter ones. But then that still just leaves a whole bunch of thick, like, fantasies and an intricate mystery. But that means I'm starting another vlog. But this is just going to be called, like, reading TBR books. But that's a lot. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 Libby audiobooks, 1 on Audible, and then 1 is read by eye, basically. Let's see. The first binding in Everyone's Thinking It is due in 11 days, because I had 14 to start with. Masquerade has 13. I started with 14. The Phoenix Keeper has 16. I started with 21. And then Prodigal Son, Ink Blood Sister Scribe have 18 days left. Started with 21. The Night Ends with Us started with 19. Now, have 19 days left. Started with 21. And then Vampires of El Norte and Dark Horse have 20 days. Started with 21. So those two came out at the same time, not the other ones. Okay, so yeah, we'll see how this go. I'll let you know what I do when I do it and how I do it when it gets done. You know? Why did I do this to myself? What is wrong with me? Alright. Bye. Hi everyone, so it's the next day and I have a little bit of an update for you. So I got to 78 pages into The Phoenix Keeper and I decided to DNF it. It's not my style of book. I hate is a strong word, but I very much dislike female character being so insecure, and I don't like her love interest. Mind you, they're not even love interests. It's like an enemies to lovers thing. I don't like it. I don't like how mean, and I don't know. I don't like that enemies to lovers banter that's not banter. It's just like being rude and disrespectful, and feeling mightier than them type of thing. And that's how I feel about her love interest. And I just feel like it's going to go back and forth for a little bit too long for me. So before I even could, I DNF'd it at 78 pages. And that's upsetting because the book is so beautiful. I wanted to keep it just because how beautiful it is. But somebody else will enjoy it and love it. And, you know, I think it's a beautiful book as well. So, too bad for that. And now I read a little bit more of Prodigal Son. I am now 20% into that book. And I'm liking it. It's going well. I haven't read any more Malice yet, but I will. But that book seems like it's going to be a book that takes me like a week to read. It's just so long, and it's not dense, but there's nothing going on right now, and I'm over 50 pages in, so it's gonna take me a minute to read it. I feel like I might have to put it down and then pick it back up a lot. I don't know. It is starting to get towards the end of the year, and towards the end of the year, I just do slow down on my reading a lot, so it will happen. And I have a lot of books, on my Libby, but I gave one back already, so that's good. The Phoenix Keeper is gone. The Prodigal Son will hopefully be gone by tomorrow, and Malice is on Audible, so that doesn't count. But yeah, I'm trying to get through these books quicker, but it's not gonna work because I'm not in the reading mood, so it's just not working out for me. But at least I'm reading. That's all that matters. No matter how slow it is, at least I'm reading. And Orphan X is a great book to be reading right now because the chapters are so short. Like, they're like 8 minutes, 10 minutes. I'm like, oh, my dream. Like, because I keep on being like, oh, I'll just read one more chapter because they're so short. Oh, I'll just read one more chapter. And the next one comes and the next one comes. So I'm liking that. I'm happy about that. But I'm so obsessed with a C-drama right now called Love in the Galaxy, or Love as the Galaxy, or something like that. Because, Jalousie is my bestie in my head, and I love her, so I'm trying to watch a lot of her dramas. Top tier. Because my favorite is so good. Because I started watching The Prisoner of Beauty a couple of days ago, and I was obsessed with it for the first couple of episodes, but now I'm on episode like 12-ish, and I've lost steam for it, and there's 36 episodes, and I'm watching it on Viki with ads, so it's taking a little bit longer. So I decided to watch the Jalousie one, and I'm on episode 11 or 12 now, and this one has 50 something episodes, but I'm on episode 11 or 12, and I watched all of that in like a day, so I'm in it, and that's all I've been thinking about is this show. So I'm about to stop reading so I can continue to watch this show for a good 85 hours, and then I'll go back to reading. Alright, so yeah, I'll see you guys with my next update. Goodbye. Okay, so let's update on reading these physical TBR books, shall we? First and foremost, I have DNF'd. I already told you guys that I DNF'd The Phoenix Keeper at 78 pages. I was around like 17% through. I was over it. I was over the, there's this thing in books, and I have distanced myself from this trope or this character kind of thing where the main character is so insecure and always likes somebody who the banter is a little too mean for me. And that's what this was. I've read a couple of lesbian romances now, and that's a big thing in them. Like, one of them is just more mean than the other, and I don't like that at all. I felt that way about She Drives Me Crazy. I ended up liking that one in the end. I gave it 4 stars, but at the beginning I was so irritated by the cheerleader character, and this one I was so irritated by the love interest. And what is that book called? Whenever I think of it, I'll let you know. But it's just, that's a main thing, and I don't like it. Oh, Delilah Green Doesn't Care. I felt as though the love interest in that one was also, she wasn't mean, but she was associated with mean people, and to me that means you're mean and you're rude and you don't care about other people's feelings but your own. So whatever, but I don't like that stuff, so I DNF'd that one. And then I DNF'd it yesterday, and I finished just now Prodigal Son. I'm gonna give this like a 3.5 to a 4. They keep on ending. His books love to be ended on like a good, interesting note, because book 5 and book 6 both ended with like a little bit with a cliffhanger, and I like that. And I have book 7, and that's one of the books that are available on Libby right now, so I'll probably read that one. But I'm thinking I'm gonna soft DNF Malice right now because I am not in the headspace, and I'm so early on in the book that I can put it down and pick it right back up and still know what's going on, but not know because nothing has happened yet. I don't feel like reading that thick book right now. I think I'm gonna want to read it a little bit later in the month, but right now that is not the book for me, and I kind of want to get a couple more of these books off of my Libby holds. So I don't know. I don't know what I'll do about that, but yeah. I finished this. I might read Dark Horse now, or I'll read something else. I don't know. But yeah, that is my update for this. I wasn't as like into this one as I was the other ones. I don't know how to feel about it. A character was introduced and then got killed off, and then like other characters other characters were introduced as well. This book goes a lot into his past and at foster care and just when he was a lot younger, which I found interesting, but I'm not a big flashback person in books and TVs and movies. Not a big flashback person. So it wasn't going to be like the greatest thing for a book to have it with me as the reader. I was kind of like just listening to it for a little bit of it. So some things kind of went in one ear and out the other. And then the end happened and I was like, I was not paying attention. But let's just keep on going, you know? So that happened during this book. So that's on me. And yeah, we'll see what I read next. I'm thinking it's either going to be Dark Horse, which is book 7 to Prodigal Son, or it's going to be Masquerade. I don't know. I'll see you when I see you. Hello, everyone. So I don't know when the last time I updated was, but I have some new updates for you guys about all the books I'm reading. So the last thing I said, I'm pretty sure, is that I finished Dark Horse and I gave it a 4.5 to a 5-star. It was really good. I've officially read all of the Orphan X that I own. So now I'm on book 8, but I haven't started book 8 or anything like that, but I will have to read them through ebooks from Libby or buy them, and I don't have the room to be buying them, so they won't be getting bought. But then after that, I didn't read 2 days ago. I didn't read anything at all, not a single drop of a word. But then yesterday, I read this book so fast, so quick. It was top tier in my opinion, and this was Everyone's Thinking It, by Alima Omotoni, and it was very good. This, in my opinion, is what Ace of Spades thinks it is. The main problem I had with Ace of Spades is that it was very flat and it was very underdeveloped and it was very fake. And what I mean by fake is the author who wrote the book is a black European person. But they wrote a book as if it was taking place in America. So these are black American experiences. But in my opinion, none of it was black American experiences. There was no nuance to things. There was no intersectionality in anything. Everything was... The characters didn't have any depth. They weren't smart. They didn't have common sense. They didn't have critical thinking. And the fact that the two main characters is a black girl and a black boy, and they have none of those things. They had very stereotypical home lives. They had, especially the boy, who the world building was trash, and there was just so much wrong with that book, in my opinion, especially since this is, again, a woman who wrote a book to make it seem like Black America, and you don't know nothing about Black America. And the fact that the bad guy was just white people. That's it. And here's the thing. That can be the case, but you didn't do it well, because we all knew that from page 1. So what makes this interesting? What makes this like, you know what I'm saying? And it was also, the way she did it was a cop-out, in my opinion, but we won't get to that. So, in my opinion, the reason this one is so much better is because, one, these are black kids from the UK. So it takes place in the UK. There's a big difference that no one seems to realize between black Americans and black British people. But this takes place, these are Black Brits who have their own type of Black dysphoria and all the things. But there's also intersectionality in it. It's not just about being Black. It's also about being a woman. It's also about being a part of the LGBTQIA. It's also about a representation I've never seen before in books, which is Asian and Hispanic Brits. I know they exist, right? I'm not slow. I'm not stupid. I know they exist, but I don't hear about them at all. And obviously, Britain is a place that has a lot of things taken from other cultures that is their culture. Like, for instance, their national dish being an Indian dish, or is it a Middle Eastern dish? It's not a British dish. Let's just say that. So I just like the intersectionality of it. I give it like a 4.5 to a 5 star. Like, on one hand, I just want to give it a 5 star, but on the other hand, this author talked about everything that I wanted an author to talk about when it comes to Black children going to these white schools where they feel othered, except this book is so much shorter than Ace of Spades. And it talks about everything I wanted Ace of Spades to talk about, except for one thing. And that's why I think it's getting a 4.5. The one thing that it did not talk about is, why do these Black parents always want to send their child to a school where they will be othered, where they are very underrepresented? Why? Is it education? Is it their own internal biases? What is it? Why would they rather their child's mental health and personal image be ruined instead of just taking them to a public school or a all Black private school? What is it that makes parents want to harm their children in that way, but not look at it as harm? What is it? I wish a book would talk about that more. This is the first book where it is Black people from Europe that I liked and I found interesting and that I'm keeping, and they don't seem horrible as people. I've read In Every Mirror She's Black, and I hated that book. I also read, this takes place in Africa though, the one I'm about to say, His Only Wife. I also heavily disliked that book as well. You could hear about that one in my very first ever Clearing My Libby Challenge video. Yeah. So yeah, that's one thing I want to talk about. The next thing I want to talk about is what book I am currently reading, because I finished this one yesterday in one, like almost, I think like 2-3 sittings. So that one's done. The book I'm reading now, I started today while my hair was getting blow dried, and it is A Second Helping. This became available 3 days ago, and this is by Beverly Jenkins. This is book 2 in the, I don't know what the series is called, but book 1 was Bring On Blessings, and it was so good. It was so good. I gave it 5 stars. It was my only 5-star read of September, and I'm already 27% through. All of this is the stuff I read in one sitting. So I read 104 pages. I can probably finish this book today, or at least get close to finishing it. Depends on how hard I want to go. And yesterday, I got some books. The first one is a book of the month book, and it's Red City by Marie Lu. I know nothing about it. I didn't even realize these were sprayed edges. They're sprayed edges. It's a city landscape, if you can't tell. And so I have this. I haven't even finished my other Marie Lu series. I started one last year. It is the ones, Prodigy and all the other ones. I only need to read the last book in the series, but my library doesn't have it, so I have to order it. But that book is always not available on Libby, always. And I don't know what that's about, but that book. And then my mom went to Ollie's yesterday, and she went crazy in the book section. Next time I'm gonna go, because she got for herself Unordinary, and I used to read that webtoon series on Webtoon years ago, but for some reason, I don't know if it was just me, but Webtoon every once in a while, the same thing with like Wattpad, would just like restart itself on my phone if I hadn't like pressed it in a minute, and it would like low-key just like make me have to sign in again, and I would sign in again, and all of my like books that I had added, or all the books I was in the middle of weren't on my currently reading anymore. Like, all of that stuff would happen, so I would lose my place a lot. And I just got so annoyed by that I just deleted both those apps. And that was years and years ago. So, like, for instance, I was reading Lore Olympus before it became like book form, and I was reading Unordinary before it became book form. It's a lot of books I was reading like that, but I gave up on them because it would restart and I would lose my place. The other one is the dragon one, Zero. What was it called? Frost Zero. Or I used to read that one a lot as well. I used to read a couple indie ones. I wasn't a Heartstopper girl, but I do have them now in book form, and I've obviously watched the show. But so she got Unordinary. She said there was a lot of comics and graphic novels there, and I was like, yeah, I will be going back, and I will be buying everything. Maybe I'll go tomorrow, because tomorrow is my Southern Hearts and Signed Kisses event thing, and that's when the convention is, and I'm going tomorrow. So yeah. Next, I got DPS Only. I've never read this before. It's obviously in full color. This is from Tapas, though. This is not from Webtoons. This is from Tapas, which I didn't really read things from Tapas, but I knew about Tapas. I knew it was like a different form of Webtoon, you know? So I got that as well. Don't know what it's about. Then this thick old classic, The Starless Crown, and it's blurred by Terry Brooks, Jonathan Mayberry, Lee Child, and Ari Salvatore. And this is the cover of it. Looks very fantasy based. And this was $4.99 at Ollie's, and in the US this would have been $28.99. So go to your local Ollie's. Because guess what also was at the Ollie's for $7.99? The first 3 books in the Wheel of Time series. I've been wanting to get to this series, but I knew it was a long series, and I didn't want to buy them from like a Barnes & Noble because that would have been very expensive. But what if I go to a secondhand bookshop, like a Second and Charles, or just like Goodwill or anything like that, they're all going to be different varieties of the books, and also different wear and tear of the books. So I was just like debating on if I wanted to start such a long, thick fantasy series, but I got the first 3 books, so now I have no choice. And then lastly, the thing I need to talk to you guys about is Southern Hearts Signed Kisses. I finished the last video, I just haven't edited it yet. I'm probably going to edit after I get back from the convention tomorrow and Sunday. That will be posted this upcoming week. But last year, I took a lot of books with me to the convention to get signed, specifically by A. Valdez, Natasha Bishop, Asia Monique. I got some Aisha Bree books that signed, because I didn't have many books by the ladies there. I bought books there, and those books were signed by the ladies, obviously. But those are the only books I brought from home. This time, though, I actually pre-ordered a lot of books from the authors who are going to be there. And so they're going to be already signed, I believe, from the ladies, because they already know I'm going to be there to get them. But these are the books I physically own from the ladies who are going to be there that aren't already signed. So I have Jatoria C. The Devil Wears Baccarat. You heard me talk about this book in one of my Southern Hearts Signed Kisses videos. I have finished this series. I read books 1, 2, and 3. And so I have one here physically. I'm going to get her to sign this. And then I have Curvy Girl Summer and Plus Size Player. And these are by Danielle Allen. And I'm going to get these signed as well from her when I get there. And this one is pretty new. Just kind of came out. So it'll be good to have this one signed. I haven't read that one yet. I've only read Curvy Girl Summer. I read it in September. So these are the only 3 books I'm taking with me. I'm also taking a tote bag or 2, but that's about it. I'm not taking anything else because I pre-ordered 19 books in all, which is not a lot, but do I have the space for it? Let's all say it with me. No. Lastly, I got a package. I already know what's in this package because I signed up for it, but basically it's this group and we're doing a knitting thing together. And so they sent me the materials that I need for the knitting of it all. The crafty kit. the crafty kit. And this is for a private event. Scan this to share. Okay. We're making a chunky stocking. So this is for Christmas, I believe. But I don't think it's Christmas colors. So maybe it doesn't have to be for Christmas. So here are some directions. Is this knitting or is this, I don't know which thing this is, you know? Yarn. You do it with your hands. It's with your hands, so you don't have a thing. Interesting. Okay. We're making a chunky stocking. So, here's this as well. So, I'm hoping to like it. I have a group meeting with them in like a week or two. So, there's that. Oh, and I also, from the Libby stuff, I also sent back the first binding because I soft DNF'd Malice, and I will probably continue it this month. I will finish it this month, but I soft DNF'd it for now because I just wasn't in the mood to think hard about a fantasy. But I also thought to myself, if I'm gonna read that, and I also have another fantasy on my list, on my Libby, the first binding is not the month. This is not the month for the first binding because that's too much fantasy in my brain. And I thought after I finish Malice and the other one, it ends with fire or something like that. After I finish them, if I feel like I could read another fantasy, then I'll read the first binding. But if I don't feel like that, it will not be getting read. And that's okay. It could wait till another month. It wasn't on my 2025 or anything like that. But yeah, it could just wait till the next month. And yeah, that's all I have to update you guys on. And I'll see you guys when I have another update. Goodbye. Alright, so I thought I should update you guys. I haven't turned on this camera in a couple of days. So the last book I read for this was A Second Helping or Second Hand Helping or something like that by Beverly Jenkins, which I finished. Obviously, I gave it 5 stars. I believe I told you guys that. I don't even know for sure if that's true or not. But then I didn't read anything for a day or two, for a day, because the next day after I finished that book, I went to Southern Hearts and Sign Kisses, that convention. And you probably already seen that video, I think. When this video comes out, that's already out. So I didn't read that day. And I think the day after that, I started. So yesterday, I started Masquerade on Sunday. And I finished it today. And it's a 5-star read. I'm giving it 5 stars. Actually, let me go on Goodreads right now and put that I put on 5 stars. Now, here are the other things that I did, which may be stupid. I don't know. I gave back Vampires of El Norte and The Night Ends with Fire. I also gave back Blood Scribe Society or whatever it's called. But there's so many copies that I got it so that I have 21 days again. Now I have like 18. But I kind of regret giving back Vampires of El Norte and the other one because now they both say it'll be several months. I gave them both back, so they said they're both going to be several months of a wait. And I still have like 11 days left of Vampires of El Norte and around that same one for the other one. But I was just like, I was feeling overwhelmed. But then the second I did it, I was putting them back on hold. And I felt a little bit like, that was the wrong decision. But honestly, it's already happened. I can't change that. So I will get them when I get them. Doesn't really matter to me, to be honest. And then, so the only books I have left in that stack that I showed you guys at the beginning. What is going on with the way I'm holding this camera? The only books I have left from that stack that I showed you at the beginning of the video is Malice, Ink, Blood, Sister Scribe, and The House of Leaves. So the only 3 books I have left, which I'm very happy and excited about. and I have to pee, so I'm rushing through this talking section. But it was really good. I finished Marry My Husband today, and I think by the time this vlog is done, hopefully I finished that C-drama I started, Love Like the Galaxy or whatever the hell it's called. But yeah, so I finished that one, and that makes it, let's see how many physical TBR books I've read this month so far. Hold on, I'll come back after I pee. I just counted, I have read, or I have in that stack, 7 books, but I think one of them is a book that I just wanted to unhaul, so I don't think that one counts. So technically, Masquerade would make 7, I think. But even if that's true, all I have to read is those 3 over there, and then I'll have 10. So my goal is always 10 books, physical TBR books, a month. I have Inkblood Sister Scribe is the only book I have left on hold on my Libby. However, this is a vlog just about reading physical TBR books. So I could put A is available now, because I have a TBR tab on my Libby, and I just pressed available now, and there's quite a lot of books available now, to be honest. So I don't. Guess who just got unlimited copies of Home is Where the Bodies Are? My library. That's crazy. So I have a lot of options of books I can read if I want to read some other physical TBR book. But I think I'm going to focus on Inkblood Sister Scribe. That's not what it's called. It is what it's called. And Malice next, because I think I want to do a separate vlog just going through my process with reading House of Leaves. So to do that, I think technically I only have like 2 books left to read for this vlog. Also, I just want to add some more books to it and keep this vlog going and keep it going long, which I don't mind doing either. So we'll see how that goes. I'm gonna brush my teeth and wash my face for the night, and then watch Chasing K-Dramas, which is because they recapped each episode of Marry My Husband. And the first show they did was Queen of Tears, which I haven't watched yet. And I don't know if I want to, because the main guy, he got into that. It's not even a scandal. He just did crimes, and it was pedophilic crimes. And the girl who was involved with that, she ended her own life. And just so now looking at his face, it just makes me go like, ugh. So I don't think I want to sit through 90-minute episodes with him. And that's the thing. Everybody loves that K-drama that like went big during the pandemic. It's okay not to be okay. I never finished it because I didn't like it. I really did not find it interesting enough, but I think I'm on my boat alone about that one. And then they finished Marry My Husband, and then the one they're doing now is the Netflix K-drama, Genie Make-A-Wish, which I might start soon just so I can watch that, but they've only released episode 1's recap, so I like having them all out, or close to being all out, so I don't have to watch that for a while. And yeah, that's what I'll do for the rest of the night. It's 11 p.m. It's 10:54, so I finished Masquerade before the new day. And guys, that book was good. Here's the thing though, that Masquerade is considered a fantasy. However, there was not one fantastical element in this book. The thing about I've realized with adult fantasy is that they call it fantasies even if there's just like worshiping gods and goddesses. And in my opinion, this book is just fiction, because in the real world, in real life, people worship God or goddesses and different various gods or multiple deities. And I don't look at any of those things as like fantastical. I just look at it as life. So for this book to not have any, I don't think anything in this was fantastical. It was a Regency time version of Africa. Regency is the wrong time period. It was a fictional, hundreds of years ago, Western Africa. they used real African cities like Timbuktu, and then there was no magic. They just believed in gods. And I'm like, well, yeah, people do that. So it was good. It was 5 stars. But I don't think it was fantasy. But I think I've realized now, when I'm starting this adult fantasy journey, is that adult fantasy sometimes just means the knowledge that there could be magic in the world, or that there are beings who could be magical in the world. Because this book talks about how the demographic that she is born of, they call them witches. And she basically is like, we're only called witches. Same reason like Salem witch women were called witches. Like, we're only called witches because men, horrible people, making things up, right? But just the acknowledge that there are witches out there makes this fantastical. I don't know how to explain it. I just feel like a lot of fantasy, adult fantasy, is mainly just fiction. Because this was just a political. Regency is the wrong word. Let me see if I can find a different word for it. Okay. Set in a wonderfully reimagined 15th century West Africa. Okay, this is the best way to explain it. Let me just read the Goodreads thing for you. Set in a wonderfully reimagined 15th century West Africa, Masquerade is a dazzling, lyrical tale exploring the true cost of one woman's fight for freedom and self-discovery, and the lengths she'll go to secure her future. Perfect synopsis. There was nothing fantastical about it, but it's categorized as a fantasy, I believe. But it's also categorized as historical fiction, and that right there is the perfect definition. Historical fiction, because there's only one part where like gods are even like a character, but I'm pretty sure it was a dream. So it was really good though. It was so good. And for this to be a debut makes it even better, because I feel like the writing, this is a book I would reread in a year or two and annotate it. But I dropped my Big Mama between my bookcases. Big Mama is my annotation kit with all of my tabs and sticky notes and everything, highlighter stickers, everything in it. It dropped in between my bookcases, and I don't have it right now. But this is a book because it has so many great quotes in it about how a woman is used, whether that's used by their mother, used by society, used by their husband. It was very interesting, and I've been reading a lot of books like that recently that is about women's choices over her own bodies, and it's very relevant to the world now. But it was so good. It was so good. But the way that Goodreads explained that, I think is the only thing you should go into this book knowing. I don't think you should go in knowing anything else. And I like this so much because none of the characters are good, but none of the characters are also bad either. And that's something that I don't see being done well in books these days. For instance, the main character, Ododo, there's multiple mothers in this book. It's like so many people are in this book, and none of them are wholly good or wholly bad. And you'll see that, like, even someone you're like, I don't like the way they're doing this, you understand why, you understand how, you see the trauma, the pain, or you see the fear. I liked it. This is the only book I have read so far in all of my reading where these are truly morally gray characters, because you might think of a character as good, and then as you keep on reading, you're like, well, they're not all the way good. And then you're like, but they're not all the way bad either. Or you'll think of a character as, you seem kind of evil. And then you read a little bit more and you're like, but I also kind of feel bad for you. And I also understand where you're coming from. And nothing is black and white in this world. And that makes it more realistic, because even the best of the best of the best kings or queens, you're still a king or a queen. So there's always a hierarchy. There's always people lower. There's always people that you can't see who are being harmed by the system that you've created, even if you try to make the best society and system. Like, it's so good. It's so good. It was really, really good. I really enjoyed it. I wasn't bored, which has been a problem with adult fantasies recently for me. It's like they take longer to set up, and because my attention span is that of a fruit fly nowadays, I get disinterested easily, which is not necessarily their fault. It's just how the format is. But this one kept me engaged for so long, and that hasn't happened in a very long time, which I very much enjoy. So yeah, I think you guys should read it. It was really good. It was really, really good. And the cover, top tier. So yeah, I'll see you when I talk about the next video. Goodbye. Alright, so hi everyone. The last book I updated you guys on was Masquerade, and I gave that one 5 stars. I already told you guys that. And after that, I read 2 books that have nothing to do with my physical TBR. I read book 4 and 5 in the Guild Hunter series by Nilani Singh. Neither of those 2 books had anything to do with physical TBR or had anything to do with the main character of the first 3 books, so I was already confused. Then today I decided I wanted to start some more of these physical books that are on my Libby and stuff like that. So I started Ink, Blood, Sister, Scribe. I read all the way up to chapter 5, which is on page 64, and this is where I DNF it. I'm getting into that mood. This year has been that mood. This is my DNFing year. I've DNFed quite a lot of books, but I'm DNFing a lot of books, and before I'm DNFing a lot of books that I know if I continue to read, it would just get like a 2.5 or a 3. There's no point in me reading to the end to say it's average. I'd rather just not finish it and not rate it. So I am DNFing it at 64 pages. That's chapter 5. And that's what I usually give a book. When I first start a book, I read to 50 pages. Usually, sometimes a chapter starts at 50 pages, but sometimes it doesn't. So I'll just read until the next chapter ends. I always do that. And that's just to say I started the book. I've read a good chunk of the book, right? Not a big chunk, but a good chunk. But a lot of times in those 50 pages, I see whether I want to DNF them or not. Sometimes I'm like, I'm not fully sold, but I'll continue. But this one is giving average, and it also reminds me a lot of Shadow of the Wind. I think this is just a female version of Shadow of the Wind, and that's fine. But I also soft DNF Shadow of the Wind at 50 pages. So it's giving Shadow of the Wind, so it's giving something I don't want to continue. So this will be DNF'd. And the next book that I will start, I'm not going to start it right now because I don't feel like it, is The Glittering Edge. This came off a hold 2-3 days ago, and I'm very excited to read this. This is one of my favorite Fairy Loot editions. Is this Fairy Loot? I think this is Fairy Loot. Ever in life. I love this. You can see the way it all looks on one of my videos where I show all of my special editions. I love this cover. I love everything about this book, just without reading it. So I'm hoping I enjoy it. I'm hoping I love and adore this book so I could keep it. Because I'm already not keeping the Phoenix Keeper. So that's upsetting. So yeah, this is Leaving Me. And yeah. So I will be starting The Glittering Edge. And let's see how many books for my physical TBR I've read this month so far. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and this will make 7. One of them I borrowed, so that one I didn't count that one. 2 of the books I've DNF'd, which is this one and The Phoenix Keeper. And yeah, but one of them I didn't talk about in this video, which is The Curious Life of Benjamin Button and Other Jazz Stories from the Age, whatever. That one I read before I started this vlog, but yeah. So Prodigal Son, The Dark Horse, I read both. The Phoenix Keeper, I DNF'd. Everyone's Thinking It, I gave 4.5 stars or 4 stars. Second Helping is a borrowed book, so that one doesn't count. Masquerade, I gave 5 stars. Benjamin Button, I gave that like 2 stars. And then this one I'm DNFing. So yeah, I'm getting through these books. Let's just continue this going the way it is. The next book is The Glittering Edge, and then I'm gonna go back to Malice after The Glittering Age, or during The Glittering Age, because I might start The Glittering Age today and then just continue on with Malice today. I don't know. But Malice isn't hooking me like I thought it would hook me, so I'm nervous about that. But we'll see what happens. Because I think I might start Shadow of the Wind, and if by page 100 it doesn't click for me, it's getting DNFs as well. Because they were so similar. This and Shadow of the Wind, the only difference is Ink Blood Sister Scribe has a lot more blood in it, like, but I'm not seeing the hype of Shadow of the Wind, so we'll see how that goes. See you in the next clip. Bye. Hello everyone. I don't have my microphone, so I hope this sounds decent. But I started The Glittering Edge. This is the hardback without the jacket. And girl, I'm liking it. I'm only on chapter 9, which is 52 pages in. But I'm liking it. It's giving CW show. It's the best thing. Because, like, it's giving how every CW paranormal show starts. It's giving Charmed. It's giving The Vampire Diaries. It's giving things like Teen Wolf. Like how every teen or young adult paranormal show starts. That's what it's giving. And I'm having a good time reading it. I'm liking the characters. In the 50-ish pages that I've read so far, the 3 main characters are already set up, and they're set up very well. We have, I guess, the main person, which is Penny, and she's getting raised by a single mother who is known around town as, like, the town harlot, honestly. That's the best way to explain it. Like, oh, she's a flirt, she's a this, she's a that. Her father passed away when she was young, and she has high anxiety. She takes medication for it, and I don't think she's magical right now, but it's giving girl who thinks she's, you know, a nobody actually is a somebody type of thing, right? But she has no powers right now. And then, I guess, as far as we know, like the second-ish main character would be Corey, and Corey is black, period, but he has a whole white family because his mother passed away. His mother was the black one. But it's because, well, because she married a white man. But there's a curse on his family that anyone who falls in love with a person from his family dies. And that's how his mother passed away. And she actually lived the longest because they had a talisman that helps them for some years. So she stayed alive longer than anybody else, right? And this whole thing was started, and I don't think it's true, by the third main character, Alonzo. And Alonzo, he's a part of the feuding family of Corey's, the other side of the feuding family of Corey's. And they basically started all this stuff, and that's what the history is. They started it all. They are a very outcasted family in the town. Everybody loves Corey's family. Everybody hates Alonzo and Alonzo's family. And they find him as an outcast. They say he's angry and mean. But let me tell you, he has a right to be angry. And they got their magic taken away by, like, the magical, like, court system. And they will never get it back again. Their family and their family lineage will never have magic again. And so it's a lot. But now all three of them are seeing shadow figures just in town, right? But it's weird because only Penny and her family is seeing it. Which her family only has her and her mother. I think only Alonzo and his family is seeing it, but everybody in Corey's family is seeing it. And we learn that you see it when there's about to be like a death in the family or of a loved one. And that's why all of Corey's family sees it, because like I just said, they have a curse on them, which is every time they fall in love with somebody, that person dies, right? So that's why they know what it means. And then they just ended on a gigantic cliffhanger, which is Penny's mom has been seeing someone and she doesn't know who her mom's been seeing. And she goes home from work, and her mom's being real cagey about it. And she goes home from her work, her part-time job, and there's cops at her door. And they're like, we need to take you to the hospital. Something has happened to your mother. They're like, what happened? She goes to the hospital. They're like, what happened? And she's like, the nurse or the doctor is like, she was on, I forgot the name of the lake, but Corey and Alonzo's families co-own like a whole lot of land. So half the land is Corey's family, half the land is Alonzo's family. And they were like, there's a lake on that land. So the doctor was like, your mom was on, I forgot, it's called like Emil Lake or something like that. And she was standing on the dock, and the dock broke because the wood was very rotted out. She hit her head. She's in a coma now. And she was like, but thank God she had a friend with her there, and she's the one who was in the ambulance with her. She called 911, all that stuff. And Penny's like, who was in the ambulance with her? And the nurse is like, something, it was like Nadia Barron or something like that. Barron is Corey's family's last name. So Penny's mother was dating one of Corey's aunts. That's why she is now in a coma. Gasp! Isn't that gasp? And it's just so interesting. It's so good. So, and everybody in Corey's family is like, that's how the chapter ends. And it ends with that reveal and that she saw a shadow person. And it's like, boom. Girl, I'm hooked. I'm hooked. And everybody in Corey's family is like, now, we all know that we can't fall in love. So why the hell did you try? Because even Penny was like, that's a new necklace. It's the talisman that that Corey's mother had that made her like live for so long, because she lived a decade when everybody else's love interest died after a couple of months. But it's interesting. There's more going on than we think. One, after this, I'm not going to tell you much about it because I don't want to spoil anything, because I do be spoiling stuff. So I'm giving y'all the synopsis so y'all can go read it. But here's what I'm thinking. One, I don't think that Alonzo's family is to blame for everything like everyone thinks it is, including Corey's family. I think it's a mix of both. I think it's a mix of Corey and Alonzo's family. But I think that Corey's family is actually to blame. And I'm pretty sure it's Corey's grandfather, because he should know everything, but he won't tell nobody nothing. And I think just Alonzo's family got blamed for everything, and that's why they're destitute. And because it's not going well for them. They own half that land, but they have no jobs because they're outcast in the towns, and like their house is decrepit, and everybody in town thinks that they're evil witches, which technically they are, but they have no powers. But it's because they've had this feud going on with the families for so long, just like the story got bigger and bigger and bigger. And I just think I don't think that's those two families. It's just as cut and dry as it is. I also think that Penny has something magical with her, because if not, I don't think she would be seeing shadow people. So that part of it is interesting, because I also think that Penny's mom is in on it somehow, because she told her mom that she was at Corey's like 4th of July party, and Alonzo and Corey got into a fight there. And she was like, I told you not to hang around either of those guys because nothing good happens when you mess with the Barron family or the Delonzo family. What is it called? The Luca family. Nothing good happens with either of them. Yet you dating one of them. That makes no sense. Stupid. But and she's like, that's weird because and even Penny thinks it. She's like, you told me that, but you dated one of the Barons. How does that make sense? So I think there's something going on because also no one in the DeLuca family is supposed to have powers because they got it taken away by the court, right? But we learn that Alonzo has a cat and named Nimble, period. And 10 years ago, he brought her back to life, a dead cat back to life. And Penny saw it 10 years ago. So she knows something's off with him. So she believes the rumors that the DeLucas are witches, right? But not because of all the evil doings that everybody's rumoring about. It's because she saw it with her own eyes. Now, Corey's family is also witches, I think, but no one thinks that they're witches. Like, it's just so good. It's interesting. In the 51 pages that I've read so far, I know so much, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it. So yeah, this is fun, right? Okay. Well, I'll see you when I have another update. I'm probably not gonna update update much because after this point, I'm probably gonna get into spoiler territory, and I don't want to spoil nobody. I've already been talking for 11 minutes on here. And half of this ain't gonna get cut out anyways, because I feel like that's a very interesting synopsis. Period. I love it. Bye. Okay, I have finished the book. It is 12:44 a.m. So I finished it right before, and it's getting 5 stars, by the way. This book is all of your favorite shows in one. So it only has witches in it, but it's giving High School Charmed mixed with like Teen Wolf and like Vampire Diaries. All of those books combined, all those shows combined. It was so good. I really enjoyed this book. It was top tier. I can't wait for book 2. It ended with a great cliffhanger. Guys, this book was really, really good. I really enjoyed it. I haven't felt this like good about a book in a minute, especially a YA book in a minute. So it's top tier. I feel like Ghostsmith and Bonesmith, those were great YA books, or I think those are more like new adult. But this is top tier. I would recommend this to everyone if you do love things like Charmed and Buffy and Vampire, like season 1 of the Vampire Diaries and shows like that. But this is so good. Teen Wolf, this is so good because everything I told you earlier all still applies, but then it gets crazier and we find out what happens and it makes perfect sense. Nothing seemed to come out of nowhere. Nothing was like, this is a duology, by the way. I had to look it up because I was like, the way this is feeling is not giving standalone. It's duology, and the second one comes out May of next year. But I was like, this is so good. The only open end is the open end of the cliffhanger for the second book. But the book is so good. The characters are so realized. The only thing that I'm not sure about, and it's not in a bad way, I just need to see how it goes in book 2, is how, because it's giving love triangle. I want to see how it resolves. Like, who will she end up with? And I want her to end up with a certain person, and I hope that she ends up with this person. But the way that the formula goes, she might not end up with this person. I don't know for sure. But it was a top tier book. I already have 2 5 stars for this month, which honestly, no, 3 5 stars, and that's good for this year because this year has not been the year of 5 stars, let me tell you. But this book made me very happy. I read it in less than 24 hours. I think actually I started it around like 4 p.m. So I kind of read it in 8 hours. It's technically the next day, but I did read it in like 8 hours. And that makes me very happy. My Libby says 5 hours and some change, but obviously I didn't read it all the way through, straight through. If I did, I would have finished it technically the same day. But this book was amazing. I really enjoyed it. And I feel like I've been doing this vlog for 35 years, and I might have, because I've read a lot of books in this vlog. So I think 2 books are... One book came off a hold a couple days ago that I never told you guys about because my library got unlimited copies of it. And that's the Geneva Rose book where all the bodies are hiding or whatever it's called. That came off a hold like 4 days ago. So I've had that in my Libby. And then I soft DNF'd Malice. So I'm thinking no matter what comes off of hold on Libby, no matter what, after I finish those 2 books, this vlog will be over. So I'm going to start Malice again tomorrow, or technically today, but later today. And then start the Geneva Rose book whenever I feel like in between. But those will be the last 2 books I read for this vlog. Hopefully I'm not lying, but I changed my mind a lot. So let's not keep this, it probably, won't last. But yeah, that's what I will do. Guys, this book was so good, guys. It was so good. It was so good. It was so good. This makes me very happy. But what doesn't make me happy is that I never added this book to my bookshelves on Goodreads. So I have a physical TBR bookshelf and just like a books that I want to get to shelf. The physical TBR bookshelf is the one I'm looking at the hardest because my goal is to get to 100 books even by the end of the year. And I'm at like 119, right? It keeps on fluctuating because I keep on buying books. But this wasn't even on my want to read shelf. This wasn't even on, and I've had this book for months. So that's a bummer. So it doesn't feel like even though I'm taking something off my physical TBR, right? I read it. It doesn't feel like I did because I technically didn't take it off the shelf off of Goodreads, which that's a bummer. But yeah, like I was brushing my teeth and washing my face with headphones on, listening to this book. That's the only time my eyes weren't on this book. And you know a book is good when my eyes stay on it, and I haven't, because that's how I love to read books, is with the audiobook while reading it physically at the same time. But when a book isn't good or it can't hold my attention fully, I can do other things and just listen. Like I could clean my room, do other things. But my eyes were reading the words on this page while listening the entire time. The entire way through. This book is over 400 pages the entire way through. The only time I didn't is when I was brushing my teeth and washing my face and I was just listening. It was top tier. I had a great time. I highly recommend. Obviously, this is a 5-star book. Obviously. So yeah. Let me show you the cover of it one more time. This is the Fairy Loot cover. But top tier. And the end papers are also top tier. And even, honestly, even not the end paper. Well, these are the end papers. The end papers, I think this is one of the best end papers ever. There's so much in here. Top tier. Bye. Hello, everyone. So, I was just outside for an hour or so, and I brought my camera to record B-roll and didn't take it out my purse once. But I would like to update you guys on everything that I got and where I am in reading Malice. So, last clip I told you guys that I have 2 books left I want to read for this vlog and then we're done. The first one is, let me grab it. Home is Where the Bodies Are by Geneva Rose. Haven't started it yet, but that. And then Malice by John Gwynne. Now, I just read up to chapter 14, which is 110 pages in. So I just read a little bit over 50 pages of this book. And I'm not enjoying it. It's not even that it's bad, or I think it's bad, or I think it's badly written. I just don't care. I don't care about any of the characters. I don't care. There's not really a plot yet. So I don't know what to do about this. I don't know if I should continue or not. Okay, so let's see. I'm about to read the back of this. Okay, I'm just not as interested as I thought it would be, right? So that's the first thing, and I'm kind of upset about it. And I got this audiobook from Audible. So it does feel kind of like a waste to not finish the book. So it's a little bit upsetting. It's a little bit upsetting, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to continue or not, or DNF. I might read a little bit more. Because it's such a thick book, I kind of want to give it a little bit of a chance. It's over 600 pages. So I think I might just read a little bit more. Maybe like around 150 to 200. And if I don't like it by then, it's time to DNF it. It's just upsetting. But I also got some Book of the Month books. My mom has a Book of the Month subscription, and she got 4 books. And she received her box. But because USPS isn't what it used to be, since COVID, since 2020, the mailing system in my city has not been great. But then, since the government shut down earlier this month, it's been even worse. So I don't think the USPS ever, or the Postal Service ever said, hey, they've received the package, we delivered it. I don't think they sent that message to Book of the Month. So Book of the Month emailed my mom and was like, hey, we have all these books and I don't think you've gotten your package, so we already sent out a new one. That should be coming soon. And she received 5 books, and one of them she gave to me. So the box came, so she just gave me 4 of the books, and the one she gave to me, she kept for herself. So here are the 4 books I received, for free. We love to see it. The first one, I've heard some things about, I'm very excited to read it, is Hazelthorn. This is by C.G. Drews. I love the cover of this. And so, yeah, I don't know what it's about. Mind you, I didn't buy these books, so here's this one. And then I got Just Another Missing Person by Gillian McAllister. His weapon isn't a gun or a knife. It's a secret. Her worst one. Okay. So we have that. Again, it's giving mystery thriller. I don't know what this is about. Now this one I've heard of. I've only read one Emily Henry book, and that is Book Lovers. And I give it 5 stars. I really loved it, really enjoyed it. But now I have A Million Junes. I watch a lot of Books in Lala, and she said that she loves Emily Henry books, but she wishes Emily Henry would go back to this type of genre. And I've heard so much about this book from Books in Lala, so I'm excited to read this one. I'm very excited. And lastly, I've seen this cover a lot, but I haven't heard many people talk about it. The Book of Witching by C.J. Cook. 400 years separate them. One book binds them. Looks good. It's giving fantastical horror. I don't know if that's an accurate representation of it, though. That's just what it looks like to me. But, yeah. Then we went to Goodwill. I went to Goodwill to drop off donations. But I went in, me and my mom, we went in to look at the book section. So the first 2 books I got, one is Blacktop Wasteland by S.A. Cosby. Never read an S.A. Cosby before, and I really want to, so I got it. Next is The Hate You Give. I've watched the movie, but I never read the book, and I'm pretty sure it's going to give me very similar vibes to Dear Martin, and I'm probably going to cry my eyes out. And the thing is, I know how it ends because I watched the movie, but there could be some slightly differences, but I don't think so. But I would love to have a copy for myself, because every time I go to the secondhand bookstore, there's always a lot of these copies of Angie Thomas books in general, but they're always very expensive to be at a secondhand bookstore, because I would be like, I could just go to a regular bookstore and buy it then, But a lot of books are becoming banned, even books like this, so it's not just classics being banned, it's just things that talk about other people's experiences that aren't cis white males, right? So books like this are mandatory in our household, so And then, what else I got from Goodwill? Me and my mom saw a stack of Amish suspense books. And I remember watching a video, but correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but I remember watching a video saying a lot of books that are like Amish romances and Amish suspense and Amish whatever aren't usually written by Amish people or people who have left the faith, and they're also usually not written by and they're also not usually read by Amish people or people who are in the faith. I don't think this is something that's in their doctrine to read, and I always find that interesting. So I want to do like a deep dive. Me and my mom said we're going to both do a deep dive, and we're going to research the author, research the books, and also read the books. So we got 5 books from an author named Linda Castillo, and they're Amish suspense novels. So we have The Hidden One, which, and this is her on the back. We also got Outsider, An Evil Heart, A Gathering of Secrets, and Fallen. So I'm very excited to read these. I'm very nervous. They're all available on Libby, so that's good. And then I went to the library, and I wasn't planning on getting anything. My mom just needed to return some books, but I started reading Cassandra Clare last year. So obviously I started with the Shadowhunters 6-book series, and then I went to Infernal Devices, which I found completely boring. And then I went into Dark Artifices, which is my favorite series. And now, technically, I only have one more series left from the Shadowhunter Cassandra Clare universe, which is this series. So I got book 1 from the library, Chain of Gold. This is the Last Hours series. I've heard very mixed reviews about book 3. Everybody loves book 1 and book 2, but mixed reviews about book 3. But those don't really, tell me anything, because I really did not enjoy the Infernal Devices. It was just boring. It was just so boring. So, no to that. That's all I have to update you guys on. I'm just really nervous that I'm gonna DNF it too early. But also I feel like I've wasted a credit on Audible because I read this and I'm not enjoying it so far. Like I said, this is a thick book, so I might give it until like 150-ish. Let's see. I'm on chapter 14. I'm gonna give it until chapter 21, which is page 159. And if I'm not feeling it, I'm just not feeling it. I just feel like it's a waste. I might give this book to my mom because she's really enjoying John Gwen's other series, Shadow of the Gods. So she might enjoy it a lot more than I do. Yeah, and then after this, I will read this, and then that's going to be the last book for the vlog, because this vlog has been going on for a very long time. But yeah, those are all the books, and hopefully it all goes well. Yeah, I'll see you guys in the next clip. Alright, it has now turned to night. I have made it to page 159 of Malice, and this is where I DNF. I am not interested. I'm not as interested as I would like to be in this book, and I am not kind to any of the characters. It's not for me. I don't know how to explain my taste when it comes to adult fantasy, because I'm just now getting into this genre, because I've been in fantasy since I started basically reading in like middle school. It's been fantasy or sci-fi. However, just recently I've started to get into adult fantasy in like the last 2-3 years, and it's like, and before this year it was like 1, maybe 2 books a year, right? Because my first, I think, adult fantasy technically was Brandon Sanderson, Way of Kings. So I'm getting into it slowly, and I've realized there's different levels to what I like in adult fantasy, and this is just not how I like my adult fantasy. An example of what I do like is, for instance, Stormlight Archive by Brandon Sanderson. I really liked Masquerade by Oo Samiyami. I don't remember the last name. I really enjoyed those two. I can't think of any more, to be honest. But those are the ones that I can think of that I've recently read. Let's see if there's any others that I've recently read, because I'm not interested in this story at all. And I think when I got into adult fantasy, I thought that it would be more magical. And sometimes it's very, like, the fantasy comes in because there's, like, worms that, like, these snake-like worms that don't really exist. So that's considered fantasy because they don't really exist, right? But there's some things I'm just like, I don't know if this really means it's fantasy or the fantasy that I like. And, that's upsetting, I guess. But it won't go to waste. My credit won't go to waste because I'm going to give this to my mom, and she'll be able to read it with the book because she likes the other series by John Gwynn. So this won't be going to waste. The credit won't be going to waste. So that's good. But that also means that there's another book off of my 25 to 2025. I've had the same 4 books on there since like July or August. It was Malice, House of Leaves, The Priory of the Orange Tree, and Starsight. But now one of those books is off, and I plan on trying to do House of Leaves this month as well. So I'm happy that this is off my TBR. It's kind of sad. I was hoping that it wouldn't go this way, but I'm sad that I didn't like it, but I'm not sad that I'm DNFing it, if that makes sense. I don't feel regretful for DNFing it, because that's how sometimes I know maybe I should keep on reading, but I don't feel that way for this book, but that's okay. We're DNFing this, which means there's only one more book for this vlog, and it's Home is Where the Bodies Are, and I'm hoping it's good. It's a very short audiobook. It's 8.5 hours, and obviously I read on over 2 times speed, so I technically can probably finish this book today. But here's the thing, I'm looking at the authors who reviewed it on the back, and I don't think I like any of them. First is Colleen Hoover. That's a no for me, dog. Then is Ashley Flowers. Haven't read from. Then is Peter Swanson. Haven't read from. Then is Lisa Gardner. She's not a fave of mine. I've read from her. Then we have Stacey Willingham, and haven't read from her. Then we have Ashley Winstead. I don't like her writing. I don't like her as author either. Then we have Mary Kupica. Also didn't like her writing. And I read her, Mary, back in high school and college. By high school, so yeah. So I don't know about this, but I'm gonna try it. And I just love this cover so much. I need to take off this Target sticker. I didn't get it from Target. I got it from Goodwill, as you could tell from this. But I guess whoever bought it got it from Target. But I'm very excited. I'll start this one tomorrow and probably finish this one tomorrow. And this will be the last book of the vlog, because I am tired of just doing the same vlog. I feel like I've been doing this vlog forever. But yeah, and then we'll wrap this all up. So yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a nice night. I'll be watching my C-drama Love in the Clouds. It just got interesting. I'm on episode 14 for anybody wondering, and I'm about to have a good old time with it. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Goodbye. I finished Home is Where the Bodies Are, and I'm gonna give it a 4-star. Yay! You can't see that. Yay! I have finished Home is Where the Bodies Are, And I'm going to give this book 4 stars. It was really good, actually. It was very predictable in just like I knew who the killer was, I think almost immediately after the end of chapter 1. And if you've read it, you understand what I mean. But it was really good. I really enjoyed it. I love dynamics. I don't read them often of like a family in disarray due to just like life things happening. It was good. It was really good. It was a 4-star read. This is a great audiobook. If you have a day, especially since it's a short book, if you have a day where you're just like, oh, it's spring cleaning time, it's summer cleaning, it's like a full day of like things you need to get done, pop in this audiobook because it's very easy to picture it. And I was reading it, I read half like audiobook and book and half just like audiobook. It was really good. I could picture everything. I didn't get lost in anything. It's a very simple story, but a good story nonetheless. And I really enjoyed it. It's not really, in my opinion, a thriller. It's closer to a mystery. And I think it might be categorized as a mystery. I don't know for sure. But they're not really trying to sleuth out what happened because it deals with the family and they don't want to ruin the image they have of their family, right? That has already technically been broken. But everything just comes out at the end, which is fine with me. And it was good. So a 4-star is what it shall get. And that means I am officially done with this YouTube video. I don't know how long I've been doing this YouTube video. I don't know how long this video is going to be. But let's talk about all the books that I read for this vlog. Let me go get all the books that I read for this vlog, first of all. And I feel like it's going to be a lot. Okay, let's get them. These two, I think this was on the list, but I don't remember. And these were on the list, I think. I don't remember. And I read this one. Damn. That's how you know this is going to be a long video. All of these? I talked about all of these? That's crazy. Okay. Okay, so these aren't in any particular order, but I will start with the books I probably showed you. Let's see if I get to all of them. I showed you a stack of books at the beginning of this vlog, and I don't know how many I, had at the end. I'm not reviewing the tapes, so I don't know. But I know these two were in the stack, and I did not get to them, which is Vampires of El Norte, which I was starting to get overwhelmed, and I was just like, let's just give this one back. Because I don't like holding on to things for too long when I don't, have the urge to read them, because I feel like I'm keeping them when I shouldn't be. But I should get it in maybe November. I put it back on hold, and I should probably get it in November. So it'll still be read in the fall. Then I also didn't read The Night Ends with Fire. I didn't read this. I didn't get to it. And I'm okay with that. I just did not feel like reading this book. Again, it's one of the ones I wasn't very excited about anyways. So I'll get to it when I get to it. Did I put this one back on hold? I don't know. Let's see. I did, and it's in last place, and I'm okay with that. So I should probably put it on hold in the other library too, though. Or should I? No, I'm not going to. Then let's talk about the books I DNF'd. I DNF'd Ink Blood Sister Scribe at around 59 pages, I believe. I've been DNFing a lot more this year, and I realized I can tell when I'm going to give something a mid score. So a mid 3 stars, 2.5 stars. I can tell. And instead of reading the entire thing and giving a mid score, I DNF them and don't rate them at all. I don't rate my DNFs. So that's what I did with this one. And then I also DNF'd The Phoenix Keeper, which will be on Pango. So there's that if you want it. I DNF'd it because it does read a little bit childish when it's supposed to be adult. And so I agree with that because I've heard some people say that. But also, I'm not in the place anymore where I read books that have romance in it and one of the characters is mean or stuck up to the other one for literally no reason. Like, it's not like they're enemies to lovers or whatever like that. The one just is stuck up and mean to the other one for no reason. And I can't get behind that, especially when it's like, but I still think she's beautiful. I would love more lesbian stories on my shelves, but I realized that dynamic is in a lot of lesbian stories. I felt the same way with Delilah Green, and the other lesbian story I have on my shelves that I really adore is She Drives Me Crazy, and it had that dynamic, but I feel like she apologized enough for me personally, not for the character, for me, where I was like, yeah, you're making up for your past discrepancies, like, but a lot of them have that, and I don't like that in stories, so it had to go. It got DNF'd. And I also DNF'd Malice at, I still have the bookmarking so I could write down the page count, at 159. I read up until chapter 21. That's a good chunk of the way through, and I DNF'd. It just wasn't what I wanted, wasn't what I expected, and I didn't have any connection to anything. I gave it longer than I do. I usually read like the first 50 pages of a book and be like, it's time to DNF. But I gave it to 150 because it's a thicker book, it's a bigger series. It might take longer for me to get into it, but I couldn't see myself liking it. I felt like I was gonna read it and give it 3 stars, or or just be reading it to read it. So that one had to leave as well. Now let's go in order of like how I rated them. So I think this got the lowest rating out of the books that are left, which is Prodigal Son and Dark Horse, which is book 5 and 6, or 6 and 7, 6 and 7 I think, of the Orphan X series by Greg Hurwitz. I read both, and I gave one a 4 and one a 4.5, I think. Let's check, because I feel like I'm lying. And what did I give the orphans? Okay, I gave Prodigal Son a 3.5 to a 4 star, and I gave Dark Horse a 4.5. So, yeah, they were good. They're continuing the story. I really like the ending of this one because at the end of this book, at the end of Into the Fire, it starts a new chapter of his life. And then during this book, it shows a little bit more of his past, his backstory. And if you know me, I don't like flashbacks that often. I think the only series where I didn't mind flashbacks was the Truly Devious series. And if you know that series, it's half flashbacks. I don't really like flashbacks at all. In TV and books and movies, nothing. And a lot of this goes back to when he was in the orphanage. But it's mainly about his past, dealing with a new story where he has to help somebody who he didn't think he would ever or should ever help. And it's interesting, but it's not my fave. Then it was Dark Horse. I really enjoyed this one more. This is the one where he helped somebody he wasn't supposed to help. That one is where he was helping someone he didn't know he was connected to on a deeper level. My bad for getting them mixed up. But I like this one a lot. I like the dynamics of this one a lot. I liked a lot of the side characters who were a part of the people he was trying to help. It was also quite scary because the person he was trying to help had been taken, and she was in a very scary place. And I was nervous at how far Greg Hurwitz was going to go. He never goes he's not like a Karen Slaughter who is real descriptive with things that happens, but he's never been that type of author for these books. So I wasn't expecting that, but I was nervous because she was in a scary place where there are people who do things to women, so I was like, oh, I'm nervous. And that added on to okay, I need to turn these pages so I can see what happens, so I can know what happens to her and stuff like that. So I really enjoyed it. Next, Everyone's Thinking It. Everyone's Thinking It. And I adored this book. This is what, in my opinion, Ace of Spades thinks it is. I really did enjoy Ace of Spades for a multitude of reasons. This is so good. The only thing, this talks about how scary it is to be a minority and a majority, right? And all the different intersectionalities that come with that. And I think that's the main thing that Ace of Spades was missing, was intersectionality, or just common sense, or just sleuthing in general. That book had none of that. I was talking to someone when I went to my Norway trip. She was there. Her name is BJ. She has a YouTube channel as well, and she read it in August. Ace of Spades in August, and she didn't give it like a high rating. So I was texting her about it. This is what I said to her about it. So I texted her and I was like, I heard you read Ace of Spades, and I have some controversial thoughts about it. And I'm going to read what I texted her, because these are a few of my thoughts on Ace of Spades, and to the antithesis of what this is, in my opinion. So I said, my very first and probably coldest take is that the mystery was very obvious because they are the only black people in that school, which makes them as characters look very stupid, right? Because they're like, oh my God, who's doing this to us? You're the only two black people in this entire humongous school of white people. It's going to be race related, right? Okay. I thought that there was no world building. I could only picture the school and both the main characters' homes, and that was barely. And the woman who wrote the book is European. However, it was written as if it was Black Americans. But as a Black American, I could tell it was done half-heartedly, which is very true compared to this book, where this is a Black European woman writing this. I didn't know that when I started it, but the accents for the audiobook was British accents, and they're in Britain, they're in London, they are Black British people. One of the girl on this side, she is an immigrant from Lagos. Is that correct? I think that's correct. So she wasn't born in Britain, but the other one was. And I like that a lot better, because you're speaking about Black British experiences, which I don't know anything about. I am not British. I don't know anything about that. I've never grown up in London or the UK, whatever, right? So I like that a lot more. And then I also said it definitely could have been reconstructed. And I don't see how none of the other characters did anything, but they are the only reason the mystery was solved. Like the main love interest to the MMC just Googled some stuff and found some information, and a random geek who helped them on the library computers. And then all they had to do was tweet for them to win. What is that? But also, the way that she portrayed the parents of both the main characters is crazy. Like, how does the FMC have a father with a racist mother, and he doesn't care how you or your mother feels, and your mother named you something from her culture and didn't tell you the meaning of your name until you were 18? Who does that? And the MMC's mother crying in front of him because she can't pay bills, and taking the money that he makes the wrong way, but being sad about that too. Girl, make up your mind and do something about that. And that's a very big thing. You could tell this was written by a Black British person impersonating American Black culture, because the MMC was stereotypically living in the hood, and he was selling like drugs and stuff like that to make ends meet for the household. The mother was sad because she couldn't pay bills, so she was crying at the dining room table every single day and being like, I can't pay bills, woe is me. And then taking his money and being like, I don't want you to be doing this, but you're taking his money. How would you just get another job then? Like, it's a big thing in Black American culture. Like, parents don't show the hardships of life, or at least they try not to their children, because they want children to stay children for as long as possible. So there's a lot of kids who never realized that they were poor, even though they were poor, like, because their parents tried their best to keep that from them. You, like, stay in a child's place in that way. Like, be a child, have fun, play your Wii, play your games, dance, be silly, ask for toys like a child would. And that was never in this book. But also, the main female character, her mother is African. I forgot what country she comes from in Africa. And her dad's like Italian or something like that. There is no one in this world whose parent gave them a name because it meant something, and that child does not know why what that name means. My name is Karen, and I know what it means. It's my grandmother's name, right? It also means hope in I forgot what language, right? I know that stuff. I've known that stuff since I was a child. There's no way that you give a child a name that's not like an average name in America. You give them a name, you give them a name that's not so average in America, and you've never told them the meaning of their name. This girl's about to go to college and you never told her? Okay. And then the last thing I said was the characters were not smart at all. A lot of the aspects of the book are very stereotypical and harmful to Black Americans. And here's the thing, I don't feel that way about anything in this book. The only thing that it got a 4.5, but the only reason it didn't get a 5-star is because I felt as though the one thing that none of these books have talked about so far that I've read that are like this is, why do Black parents want to enroll their children in these very white and suffocating places? What is their thought process behind it? And honestly, in this book, I probably understand more on why they don't talk about it, because as a child, you don't know why your parents do some of the things that they do. A lot of parents don't give you a reason why they treat you the way they do, or make you do something that you don't want to do, right? But it was just a really, really good book. It's a lot shorter, and it has so much intersectionality of race, gender, sexuality, class. And it was just really good. I really enjoyed it. Next, I read Masquerade, and I gave this 5 stars, which I'm very happy about. This is 15th century West Africa, and it is an amazing story. I really enjoyed this. I talked about this at length, I believe, already. This is what I feel like when I say I have not read many books with true morally gray characters. And I think every single character in this book is morally gray. Every single one. And that's interesting to see. Even background characters who don't play big roles in the book, they are also extremely morally gray. It's a really good book. Next, I read the next 5 star. This book gave me 5 stars, and 4 and 5 stars, a lot of them, and I'm happy about that. It's The Glittering Edge. I had an amazing time reading it. It's a beautiful book. I will be buying book 2. I also talked about this book at length just recently in this vlog probably, so I won't go into depth, but the ending was predictable, but also it makes sense, and it's giving Charmed and The Vampire Diaries and all those CW, WB shows in the best way possible, and I mean that in the best way possible. And lastly, what you just saw me read, Home is Where the Bodies Are. It was great. I enjoyed it. It's a quick popcorn, like, mystery read. If you want to get out of a slump, this is the type of book I would recommend. If you want to, like, do a spring cleaning that'll take you like 2-3 hours, this is the type of book I would recommend. And listen to the audiobook, and you'll be done. By the time you're done cleaning, you'll be done with this book. It's a really good time, and I love the cover. As I take this sticker off, it'll be a beautiful cover. So yeah, thank you all for joining me on this probably long video, and I hope you got some recommendations out of this. I hope you get some new books. You read some of these if they're on your TBR already. Take them off your TBR. Tell me how you like them. Tell me how you feel. Tell me if I should have continued with one of the books I DNF'd. I probably won't. Save your breath. But yeah, I hope you have an amazing time. I hope you have an amazing 5-star, no skips, no DNFs, reading day, week, month, and year. All of the above. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye!